This is a public service announcement brought to you by Straight 100 Jets, and that announcement is Jets Nation, stop allowing yourselves to be trolled by the clowns in the corporate sports media. Now, ever since I started my channel in last October, I've made several videos documenting the decline of the corporate sports media, how journalism and the truth has been set aside in favor of WWE theatrics and antagonism and trolling to try and get clicks, viewers, and social media mentions. I mean, but now more and more their their antics are becoming more desperate and more pathetic. I mean, it's basically all it is now is basically Jerry Springer type theatrics, and who can scream the loudest, who can make the biggest ass of themselves, who can troll the hardest to try and try and antagonize a fan base to try to get them to click on their articles or view their shows. I mean, it's honestly really sad because back in the day, I couldn't wait to turn on ESPN and get the highlights of the day and see whatever news is going on. Now it's the opposite. Now I can't even go on YouTube and look at the sports media's morning shows, without having to turn it off within 30 seconds because it's really become a caricature of itself, and now it's become a complete joke. Now, two of the people that I hold most responsible, other than the sports media companies themselves, like ESPN and Fox Sports, CBS Sports, all down the line, two of the people that I hold most responsible for the decline of the corporate sports media to where it has become a complete joke is Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless. I mean, there was a point, when Stephen A. first came into ESPN, he had some credibility, but now as time goes on, and in this new era, he's looking more and more like a clown. I mean, and their takes have become all the more desperate to try, to try and stay on top and to try and generate more attention. So they're the ones who have to resort to trolling, saying the most idiotic things, acting like a jackass, etc., etc. And 3 days ago, Stephen A. Smith, um, ranted on his show that he's just said the New York Jets are reserved for last place in the AFC East. Now, I wipe my ass with what Stephen A. Smith has to say. I can honestly care less because I see the corporate sports media for what it truly is, where it's just basically a clown show and and a way to troll to try to get more to try and get more viewers to their channels and more clicks on their articles, etc., etc. Now, as much as I don't give a fuck about what Stephen A. Smith or any of the clowns in the corporate sports media have to say, once again on Tuesday, once this take came out, Jets Twitter was in a tizzy. Now, I love Jets Twitter, don't get me wrong. I love Jets Nation, I love being a part of it. But honestly, you guys should know better. Because this is, from Rich Samini. We've seen it too many times with Samini and the New York beat reporters, and that this is their favorite tool to try and get clicks because they know that the Jets fan base is extremely passionate, even a little sensitive, and they know that this is their favorite tool to be able to get more clicks is by trolling Jets Nation. And more and more it should be more obvious to people what they're doing because this is their bread and butter. And in reality, what Stephen A. Smith says or what anyone else says doesn't matter about the Jets. I hope that the Jets players are using this as fuel for this coming season. But other than that, what Stephen A. Smith, what Skip Bayless, what Nick Wright, any of the any of these people say doesn't matter. It's a slow time of year, and but the advertising dollars don't stop. That they have to still keep chasing it, and this is their favorite tool. The Jets are their favorite punching bag. It doesn't matter to them that Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh and all the great news coming out of Jets camp that they're changing the culture. None of that matters to them. The only thing that matters to them is how can I say the most outrageous things to be able to troll Jets Nation to get them to click on my articles or to have them view my shows. That's the only thing that matters to them, and it's getting tired and old. And but honestly, a lot of people, a lot of Jets fans still, fall for this trick. And honestly, it needs to stop because that's the only way we can have some sanity is that if people have stopped paying attention to this garbage, and a lot of people have. A lot of people are really tired of the theatrics, acting the fool, saying the most outrageous things, and a lot of people are tired of it. Even a big time sports fan like myself is past tired of it. But I don't take it personally because honestly, this is what they do. This is what's been laid out by companies like ESPN and Fox Sports and the rest of them is that this is their bread and butter to be able to get clicks and to get advertising dollars. And and we as a whole, as Jets Nation, have to stop falling for it. And especially now in a slow time of year, you could see their desperate attempts even more clearly. Now, I know the original intent by the sports media when they started doing these theatrics was to not be boring, but as these antics get more desperate, they've become incredibly boring. As I said before, I can't even watch like 30 seconds of sports media's like morning coverage because I feel like brain cells are dying inside my head, and I need to save them. And it's really sad because everyone suffers. The sports fan suffers, even the sports journalists suffer. Like whatever the credibility they had leading up to getting these big jobs at ESPN as an analyst or Fox Sports as an analyst, that their credibility has been flushed down the toilet because they have to chase advertisers like a crack addict. They have to chase advertising dollars. They have to chase clicks. So now everything is about who can say the most outrageous thing, and honestly, everyone suffers because of it. Now, Jets fans, if you're tired of being the punching bag of the sports media, now I know ultimately the only way we could stop being that punching bag is by winning games and eventually winning championships. That's the only thing that can erase it for good. But if you want to, do your part now, you could do your part by stop allowing these people to troll you. Stop watching it because the more they get fed, the more they're gonna do it. And that's the thing. We have to stop listening to these idiots. And when we stop clicking on their articles, when we stop retweeting uh, their idiotic posts, their pathetic attempts to troll, once we stop watching their shows, they're eventually going to have to change their tactics. And we need to get back to some kind of sanity when it comes to sports journalism. I'm not saying in the least to give up passion. There definitely has to be passion in sports. There has to be a mix between passion and doing your job as a journalist to report the truth. I mean, that's when sports media is at their best. And right now, they're at their very worst because now they've jettisoned the truth in order to chase clicks. And the only way that can be stopped is if we stop paying attention to them. So that's it, you guys. What are your thoughts on the sad, pathetic state of the corporate media? Jets Nation, I love you guys. Um, don't let any of these idiots take up 1 ounce of space in your head for a second. You know, these guys are clowns, and you're just basically feeding into the beast if you pay attention to these fools. Stop paying attention to them, and maybe we can start having some sanity in sports journalism once again. Love you guys, and as always, go Jets.